Well, hello. This is Lannie McAllister. Actually, it's Lannie Ginger. Lannie's first name, Ginger, is her name, and then mom's maiden name is McAllister. So this is a fictional book. Fiction. So the name is The Plot Infidel. Dates and times are to be corrected, but it more or less goes like this. Started with Hajib, known as Burqa, a physician in Iran. As a little boy, at heart, he was 22 years old, an MD, and he saw the Shah uprising. He, over time, is now the head of a vast terrorist organization, bent on retaliating for the death of his family. A misfired rocket that landed on his home while he was at work, losing 3 generations of his family. He wanted to forgive, but could not. He had to avenge the deaths of his grandparents, parents, 6 wives, and 12 children. He thought an eye for an eye. But what was his children's eyes worth? 1. And he couldn't get that out of his mind. An eye for an eye, no, an eye for 2 eyes. But then, yes, how much are my 12 children's eyes worth? My 6 wives, my grandparents, my parents. Tomorrow is the day. Everything will end tomorrow at 5 p.m., 2029, February 29th. It was 5 p.m., February 29th, 1988. That was the day that needed to be avenged. Hajib decided to join the San Diego contingency of the Plot Infidel. Saudi oil was flowing. Petrodollars were flowing like a tsunami. The Saudi oil was in his reserve. His reserve was the Saudi oil. Petrodollars like a tsunami. Tidal wave of money. We now, this is Hajib talking, we now have over 500 RVs and 500 sailboats positioned around the world. Each one of those has 20 SUVs. In each model, one of each model made, each minivan or van or suburban or all these vehicles. Some of them had Hummers, some of them had Lamborghinis, some Ferraris. You never know what you're going to get. What you would get, each of them would be loaded with explosives, machine guns, handguns, RPGs, grenades, smoke bombs, gas masks, body armor, and 3 disguises. Hajib got to be Elvis with a Trump mask. On each sailboat or RV and in the RVs and the sailboats will be positioned, whether on the sailboat or on the SUVs, 308 SCAR, a 5.7 bullpump, a 5.7 sidearm, a 22, a 5-shot, a boot, no bigger than your hand. 22s, 5 shots. Pop, 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 pop. 5. A marine knife. Rounds for each of the types of 100 for each. Each weapon would have 100 rounds minimum for each weapon to function. And there was also a suicide ring. Yes, each one was provided with a ring that, when open, would kill him within a minute of cyanide poisoning. So yes, everyone was in it, either to win it or to die, kamikaze style. Each of the saints, something by Hajib, they rehearsed their scenarios. Hajib even made a video game created so that each saint could reenact all scenarios. So no matter what port, airport, seaport they got, they would be familiar. The high scores were recorded and placed as team leaders. Since Hajib had scored the highest on all maps, he was the lead. On his word, all would end. And as an avid hacker, he had hacked the power grids, the grids for communication, the FBI, the CIA, and all local police, and electrical grids, and all cell phones. Electric and water, with one push, the infidel would pay. One push. With one push, the infidel would pay. Started the year gone. Doesn't make it. There's some wording there. It doesn't make it. I'll type it up later. This makes no sense. While Hajib was on his sailboat, he fell into the cold Pacific Ocean. He was stationed in San Diego. Gene was visiting a friend. So Gene Levine jumps in the ocean to save Hajib. He helped him out and retrieved his prescription glasses that had fallen into the bottom of the marina. Gene had been the weatherman during the Vietnam aboard the Enterprise. His great-great-grandfather, Rabbi Levine, in Detroit, Michigan, started Zionism. He has a photographic memory and had memorized all the top-secret naval codes and would tell the captain where to go to avoid any storms. Now long retired, living a life of service, he donated his time translating for the psychiatric ward. Mental health patients. Hajib, Gene, and John strike up a conversation. Gene and John extend an invitation for drinks, dinner. Hajib, having no other plan, agreed. John had already converted Gene to Catholicism. Though impolite, politics and religion were discussed. Hajib felt a pang of remorse. He was so confused. Could he forgive? Had he been on the wrong path? Was this what God wanted? Could he betray his family and faith? Martha, Jean's wife, started flirting with Hajib. He had given up on women after his 6 wives had been killed, but Martha had a quirky strangeness, almost a stupid intelligence that he found so attractive. She definitely was no beauty queen, but had something as if all 6 wives nagging and had surfaced into one. All 6 wives nagging had surfaced into one. One was Martha. One night, Jean we'll get there later. Jean went below to tell John. John had his father's this part goes at the end. Sorry. As Hajib and Martha and Jean spend more time together, Hajib is conflicted with his homosexual tendencies. Martha and Jean, avid swingers, welcome, embrace, and cater to his raw sexual tendencies. Jean, an avid cuckold, enjoys watching Martha with other men. Martha, having been a high-end stripper call girl in her youth, enjoyed the renewed attention. Martha even thought of leaving Jean for Hajib. Martha had never felt another man inside her intimacy like Hajib and couldn't get him out of her mind. She fantasized endlessly how they would dispose of Jean and sail away together. Hajib, conflicted in love with Jean and Martha, somehow his homosexual tendencies were stronger. And he dreamed endlessly how to dispose of Martha and live with Jean till death separated them. His traditional Muslim values conflicted with his feelings. Could he convert to Catholicism? Okay. Convert to come more together. Hajib is conflicted with his homosexual tendencies. Martha and Jean, avid swing. Oh, we already read that. She fantasized. Martha said his traditional Muslim values conflicted with his feelings. Could he convert to Catholicism, dispose of Martha, and his crusade? These thoughts continued to torture him. One day, Hajib confronted Jean, but Jean enjoyed being a cuckold and could not let Martha go. Jean had been a reluctant Catholic, but after years of nagging, conceded. Now a fervent Pentecostal charismatic Catholic, would consistently speak in tongues daily. Hajib, Martha, and Jean kept getting deeper into their relationship. Speaking in tongues was now a routine practice. John, a certified orgasmic meditation coach, helped them recognize and accept their new relationship. They spent many a day at the nudist colony where John had a small harem of young women. He would practice his orgasmic meditation. Known throughout the orgasmic meditation community as one of the finest strokers, He was in high demand. He would offer services for 10,000 an hour. Many gladly paid. But for Jean and Martha and Hajib, being neighbors and friends, it came natural to work pro bono with them. Socorro Olson, Martha's sister, did not agree with their modern relationship practices and was hell-bent on disrupting this hedonism. Socorro being the first woman was infrared. A devout, widowed Catholic over 20 years, had taken "till death do us part" seriously, and will still say, "till death do me part." She had not been with another man her whole life. Married at 47, she could not conceive a child for Malin, but had, at 15, went to the house as a servant and raised 2 boys. James, who had been an orthopedic surgeon, was killed in the Gulf. John, being a dentist, and had recently retired on the Gloria, a wooden sailboat, a Choi Lee catch in San Diego. Socorro lived a modest life in a beautiful home on top of the mountains in Los Angeles. She rooted for the Dodgers. Dodgers. Jaime Karim is a friend. Jaime Karim. Known by many to be a saint incarnate, she would attend Mass daily. She would read the Rosary daily. Her hero was Sister Ana Luisa, who had been a missionary in Kenya for 20 years. She spoke Swahili fluently and was her cousin. She would collect cans. The proceeds were sent to the mission in Africa. While visiting John on his catch, she uncovered the wickedness with Jean, Martha, and Hajib. John invited them to karaoke. Jean sang Popeye the Sailor Man and did a wonderful rendition of Popeye the Sailor Man. He's an excellent, marvelous Popeye the Sailor Man. He eats his spinach. But Socorro sang Cuco Sanchez, Fallaste Corazón. Martha Lucha Villa, I think, Ya no me interesas. Hajib chose not to sing a song, but to dance. So he put on Zorba the Greek. I say, danced. John sang Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross. Jean sang YMCA with an amazing rendition of the village people. He had even brought costumes to change into each of the characters. The cowboy, the policeman, well, all of them. There's a lot of them. Because Jean felt that they should have at least 10 village people. So we had many outfits to enjoy the evening. Hajib was a serious fan of Betty Davis. How'd that get here? And Humphrey Bogart. He would not watch any other movies except those with these actors. He had memorized each line and often would recite rote passages sitting with the saints by the campfire. Saints would think to watch nothing new under the sun. All has to his vigor, he would endlessly watch the African Queen. Yeah, so he would endlessly watch the African Queen, and if you haven't watched the African Queen, it's not with Betty Davis, but it is with Humphrey Bogart. Betty Davis would have played well in that role, but she didn't get it. I think it was Katharine Hepburn. She did a marvelous job. Sometimes he would make an exception for Cary Grant. North by Northwest was a common one. The few times he lost a wager with the Saints, few times, they would make him see Woody Allen, Monty Python, Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, the blonde superhero from Monty Python, Woody Allen. When he would watch Nicolas Cage. He wanted to destroy the world. Oh, yeah. Anytime they would put on... The Saints sometimes were wicked guys because they knew that he hated the acting of that guy, Nicolas Cage. Really, I mean, come on. The guy just does Elvis every time. Yeah. So yeah, he'd get really upset, and he would bring back that anger of his children being blown up, and his grandparents and mom and his 6 wives. It was a traumatic moment. He was out at work. See, he left to go to work. He was a physician, a healer. And it was a very difficult transition to think that he was going to become the greatest mass murderer of all time. So, well, let's get back to Cary Grant, or to who? Keira Knightley? No, here we are. I'll destroy the world. Ever has to suffer so that anybody suffer the torture of watching another one of his movies. I don't know what he would do. I didn't get that. Okay. Anya Taylor-Joy. Plot infidel. Full steam ahead. Gene and Martha, avid psychonauts, would cook with psilocybin mushrooms. Sometimes would take ayahuasca. Would go to would have ayahuasca ceremonies with John on his sailboat. John was the shaman. Then would follow up with San Pedro. Next week. Peyote full moons. Salvia new moons. 3 women virgins were with John at all times. John was a certified Girl Scout lifeguard camping dad. He would often ask, have you ever met another? Have you ever met another certified lifeguard Girl Scout camping dad? You imagine what the vetting process is to get that title? And a AYSO girls soccer coach for 4 years. Girl Scout lifeguard camping dad has to go to camping classes 3 weekends in a row with 20 women and John. Because who's going to let that 3-year-old to 18-year-old go camping with a man? Well, I got the honor to be the lifeguard. They stuck me in a pool several weekends. A bunch of kids trying to get into Soak City or one of these hurricane harbors. Oh, man. All right, well, to what it is. Oh, we'll continue on. Pack your things, we're leaving. What? Martha breaks down. Jean and Martha, avid psychonauts, sometimes would do ayahuasca ceremonies with John, who was a shaman. They would follow up with the San Pedro a week later. Peyote full moons, salvia new moons. John always had at least 3 women virgins with him at all times. John was a certified lifeguard, a Girl Scout lifeguard, camping AYSO soccer dad. He would often ask, "Have you ever met another?" My training for Girl Scout camping dad was 3 weeks spent camping with 20 women. For the lifeguard certification, several weekends at the local pool, as hours. At the local pool, an hour's drive away. It was not local. It took an hour to drive there, and an hour back. Burka came over and was hungry. He started tripping and was sure it was God speaking to him. God kept speaking and he couldn't understand. What the fuck are you saying, dude? He had recently lost a bet with Jean and had to watch The Big Lebowski. Martha breaks down and tells Socorro that when she missed... Whoa, dude, let me turn this up. I'm going to pause it now.